This is another Disney podcast production.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Disney podcast. This is episode number 33 for the week of August the 20th. Let's do it.
Man, we got to do something about our intro. For those of you that watch the video version, we've got Brandon who goes absolutely crazy with his arms flailing all over the place, and you have the big headphones on still.
Yeah. I was like Quad City DJs or something up there. So I don't know. I was super. That was like right when you guys first asked me to join the show. So I guess right. I was like super excited, and I was like, well, I got to show these guys that I'm stoked to like join them on the show, and then obviously. You know, I look at the full screen and you and Matthew are like,
we're just chatting. Like
you're just chatting and I'm freaking doing an audition for like, whose line is it anyway or something.
At least somebody's still excited about Disney. Cause I guess we just talk. Matthew hardly comes on anymore. He's so
unexcited that he just doesn't even talk about it anymore.
So sometimes we'll cover him up with Figment or whatever guest is on, we'll just cover his face. We should probably make a new one.
We probably should refilm that. Yeah.
And by we, I guess that means me because I edited it. So that'll happen probably after the 50th. I'll be right on time.
Yeah.
So like speaking of Matthew, we need to have him back on. He's getting ready to go on a trip to come see you guys. Well, not you, but
not me, because I'm coming to see you. Technically,
yes.
I'm coming to Virginia Beach. He's coming to Florida, so we might pass each other. We might fly by each other, or actually, I think maybe he's driving, so I'm gonna fly over him and wave.
Okay, so Maverick, are you gonna buzz the tower? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's because I was inverted.
Perfect. Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, I got a Polaroid. It's a great shot, man. He's right there.
I'll have to talk about that sometime. Coming to town for a little concerts are kind of back, and so we're gonna do. For those of you who don't know, my name is David Matthew Daniels. Brandon's favorite band is Dave Matthews Band, and then you've got Dave and Matthew who are on the show. It's a whole wicked weaved web that we have going on here.
And then when all three of us are there, it's Dave, Matthew, Brandon, or DMB. So I mean, it's just all meant to be.
I agree. So it should be fun. I'm sure it'll be nice standing outside on the lawn and 600-degree humidity. It'll be just like you're at home.
It's probably still going to feel cold compared to here.
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matthew's going to be there. So I'm sure, I think he's going with his mom and his brother. And we all know that his mom and your bride, like,
I was like, my mom's coming. That's weird.
That's news to you. They're good buddies. So I'm sure they'll find a way to hook up while we all hang out over some good, wholesome music. Wholesome? I don't know what that means.
Wholesome. I don't know if it's wholesome.
It's just
music.
Good. It's really good music. Best drummer alive, in my opinion. I'm sure that's up for debate, but in my opinion, I would say the best drummer of all time is Neil Peart from Rush, which has nothing to do with Disney. But the best drummer alive right now, to me, hands down, is Dave Matthews Drummer. Gosh,
Carter Beauford on the drums.
He is absurd.
Correct.
His snares are so tight, like especially ants marching. God, how it doesn't snap and burst is beyond me. Anyway, wow, this has gone way off course.
All right, so I guess we're gonna have to start another show on our channel, on our neighborhood of shows, talking about snare drums.
We'll call it Tight Snares.
Tight Snares.
Man, we should move along very quickly. Okay, as per normal, we were totally planning on doing a show where we were going to talk all about once we get through the 50th and once we see some greener pastures from the pandemic, not saying we're anywhere near that, but as we look into the future, so you're talking the 50th will be 18 months plus from now, what will Disney parks look like moving forward after like the 50th? Well, we're still, I think, going to touch on that. I still think we should talk about that.
Yeah.
But of course, Disney goes and drops another huge bomb literally an hour ago. So today is Wednesday, and it is August
The 18th.
18, so 2 days before our show. So when you hear all this will all be old news because it'll all be 48 hours old by then. But they dropped their big announcement about the Genie app. So if you don't know what the Genie app is, this is in the context of Walt Disney World. This is going to replace my Disney experience, which has been a train wreck for multiple years.
Yeah.
This was supposed to come out way before now. They announced it. Gosh, was it maybe 2018 they announced?
Yeah, but at least 2 or 3 years ago. I think they announced
so
it. Yeah.
Obviously the world is a whole lot different now, but they have announced that it's finally here and coming and launching. And with that, they dropped the biggest bombshell, I think, of all of the changes when it comes to annual passes, all of this stuff. They have announced that at Walt Disney World, fast passes for free are gone.
They are gone. And we knew this was coming.
Sure,
we talked about it on shows before even Disneyland Paris started doing it. Once the pandemic hit, that gave them the natural pause to just say, let's reevaluate this. This would be a great time once we get back to capacity. This would be a great time to roll into something else. So it's not a surprise that the regular fast passes are gone, but still it's a shock when you see it because that's what everybody knows right now.
And by they, you mean JPEG. Excuse me.
Yes.
Which we all know. Like I'm not going to go as far as everybody else and say he's anti-parks. I think I've said that before. I think a lot of people live in that camp. Has he made some choices that I would disagree with? Sure. Hasn't every CEO of Disney, like before him, made decisions that we've been like, really, or not happy with? So I think we're in good hands with Josh D'Amaro. Like, I'm a big fan of him. I would love to see him graduate to Chapek's position down the line.
Yeah.
I think he would be great as a CEO of the entire Walt Disney Company, but that's neither here nor there. We want to unpack what we know so far about the Genie app, because the Genie app will be free. They make it a big deal in their thing about it being free, which is super confusing because there's a plus app portion of that. There's a plus portion of that is most certainly not free.
Definitely not free.
Yeah. So unpack it for us a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously they've come out with what the story said today. Obviously the Disney Genie app, like you said, is going to replace the current My Disney Experience app. What they advertise, the Disney Genie app, is a intuitive tool that helps you to plan your day while still being able to be spontaneous. So basically, when you open up the My Disney Experience app, when it goes live sometime in fall, now we all know with Disney, fall is a relative term. It's August the 18th right now, and the Halloween decorations are up at Magic Kingdom. So it is technically fall. This could come out next week, and it would surprise no one.
Right.
But it's going to be an intuitive thing. So basically, you go into My Disney Experience, it says start the Genie app, it pulls up a thing. And then basically, when you go to Disney for the day, you open the app and you say, these are the things that I'd love to do today at Disney. And you select Big Thunder Mountain, Haunted Mansion, People Mover, a list of 40 or so attractions that are on there. And then basically it plans your day for you. I mean, it says, hey, you might want to visit Big Thunder Mountain from 10 a.m. to 11:15. That's the time that the wait times are supposed to be the least amount. And so it allows you just to still be spontaneous, but sort of plan your day. Yeah. So that's kind of the free version of the app. It's got attractions, it's got dining. It says, hey, if you plan on going to Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe today, you might want to mobile order between 11:45 and 12:15.
Yes.
And then it'll also plan attractions around Cosmic Rays. So it looks like it's super cool if it works like it's supposed to.
I have a question about dining. So you can also, in the free version, make dining reservations if they're available. Yes.
If they're available. Okay. And you can also join walk-up queues without having to go to the restaurant. So,
so much
right
better.
now at Disney, there's probably, there may be 3 to 6 restaurants that you can join on the My Disney app, walk-up line. Other ones, you have to go to the restaurant, see if they have availability in the walk-up line, and join the wait that way. This Disney Genie should allow you to join any available walk-up line as long as they have availability from anywhere in the parks. So that's much nicer. I remember the time that we went to the Skipper Canteen and we bugged the girl at the front for an hour, and she finally let us in. But that would be no more. You wouldn't have to do that anymore. So yes, it allows you to make walk-up reservations and regular dining reservations if they're available. So it searches for, you're like, hey, I'd love to go to Crystal Palace today. So you put that into the Disney Genie. It constantly searches, and if a reservation comes up, it'll show up on your screen and you grab it. So it definitely makes searching for things much easier if it works like it's supposed to.
Agreed. Good synopsis. And then there's a paid version, and there's a couple of pieces in that, but what we really want to focus is what we said at the beginning with FastPass being no more, and that is there's some the FastPass system is gone. Like it's not even called that anymore. So what is our new name replacing FastPass?
It is going to be called the Lightning Lane.
There it is. So
there it is. The Lightning Lane.
We talked about this a few, I don't know, maybe months ago on our show. You've got the Genie app, which clearly is a play on the Genie, Robin Williams, rest in peace, portion. But then you go and call it the Lightning Lane, which is clearly could be a Cars reference. So, I mean, I'm fine. We've got some Disney and Pixar canon in there, if you will, but it's just a bizarre, like, why didn't they call it the Wish Lane? That's probably because that's really dumb. I don't know. But I just thought it was weird, like the light. Why didn't they theme the whole thing like Cars-ish? I don't know.
More Disney or something more Disney that people would recognize. Like, yes, you're going to get a little bit of Pixar in there, and you're going to be like, oh, Lightning McQueen. But most people are going to be like, Lightning Lane? Like,
that's weird.
What does that mean?
Because we all know that's lies.
We've
gone to the FastPass line when the wait is 90 minutes and the FastPass lane is 30 minutes. So it's not, that's not lightning. It's not lightning.
I don't think there's going to be any kind of lightning to it, but
no.
So that's part of the paid version.
Yeah.
So from what I understand about the paid version, you then can pay extra for certain attractions that you select. I think it said 2 a day.
Yes. So that's one version of it, right?
Yes.
So like for an example, go ahead.
Multiple parks. It can be across multiple parks, which is super cool. So say you want to do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and you want to do Smuggler's Run, Millennium Falcon, you can select those as your 2 premier Lightning Lane rides and visit them both throughout the day.
Yeah, super cool. And then a couple of things that were added to that is, well, another huge announcement that happened today is they have said that Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will be a virtual queue, which I don't think that was a surprise. No. But what they surprised us with is that will be one of the attractions that you can pay extra to get a Lightning Lane
pass.
This is all break, so we're gonna mess some of this up because this is literally an hour old as we're delivering it. So,
and we will probably be absolutely wrong on something.
Yes, 100%.
So don't hold us to it.
Always happens. 30% of the time, I'm right all the time. So there's that, and then you've got the $15. Now it is important to know, Disneyland is so you can buy fast passes for the day, which I'll have Brandon unpack a little bit more, at Walt Disney World for $15 per person per day, and at Disneyland it's $20 per person per day. So now, Brandon, if I'm understanding all of this correctly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because again, early breaking news, this is going to be like what we're used to for fast passes, correct? Except now we're just paying for it. Yes?
Correct. Yeah. So what I understood about it, like you said, at Walt Disney World, within the Disney Genie service, there's Disney Genie Plus for $15 a day per ticket, which we talked about this a lot. I don't think that that's high enough. I don't think that I mean, that's $15 a day. People will be like, okay, I mean, I can get fast passes for $15 a day. That's a deal. When we were talking about Disneyland Paris charging $15 a ride,
right?
I mean, $15 a day is pretty great.
Yeah.
But what this Disney Genie Plus service is, so you pay $15 a day, and it allows you to select return times at an attraction one at a time. So the old fast pass system, you could select 3 and then you select one at a time after that. So that's kind of what this is going to be. So it just says you choose the next available time to arrive at a variety of attractions using the Lightning Lane entrance. You can make one selection at a time throughout the day. Classics like Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run. Now, in the video that they released, you are still going to be able to stand in the standby lane. If you just don't want to pay the $15 a day, you just do it like we're doing now. You just go get in line. So to me, that doesn't seem bad at all.
No. And to me, like to hammer home the point, what you said, there's a couple of things that we've talked about, right? We've heard rumblings about, all the major attractions going to, again, this is rumblings that has nothing to do with today's announcement, but we've heard rumblings about all of your major attractions going to a virtual queue because Disney doesn't want people standing in line, because if they're standing in line, they're not eating, they're not buying souvenirs, they're not spending money, which, like, from a business standpoint, that makes sense to me. Yeah. But I think the challenging thing with this is twofold. One, this price tag is great, especially for your family that goes once a year, once every couple of years, right? Because here's how I look at it. Like, we'll just take your American, family of 4 with a dog and a cat, right? You got mom, dad, son, daughter, dog, cat, right? Dog, cat can't go. But son, so you're talking.
They just have to stay at best friends.
That's right. So the problem that we're speaking of is this, in my opinion, is so reachable for so many folks. And why I say that is, that's $60 per person per day. You go to Disney World for 7 days. That's a lot of money. Well, let me give you a realistic scenario that I would do with my family. So let's just say none of us are annual pass holders. We fly to Orlando. We go to Disney World for 7 days. We'll go to the parks probably at least 6 days. And so that means we're going to visit multiple parks multiple times. And so I'm going to think through this as how I would do this as the planner of this trip is I would say, okay, we've got 4 major theme parks there. I'm going to buy fast passes for each of those parks one time that we visit so we can have fast pass. And so when you're talking 60 times 4, that's no longer 60 times 6 or 60 times 7, right? So that's a significant drop in cost. Yeah. And that's roughly the price of a quick service lunch for a family of 4, roughly. And so to me, I'm like, well, you just pack a sandwich those 4 days and you didn't spend any more money. And so that's why I'm concerned that our queues that we saw pre-pandemic, where, like Brandon said, 4,700 people from the Fast Pass lane go and 10 from the standby queue. That's why these popular rides, the standby queue line always is so long when you search it on the app. It's because Fast Pass people are just plowing through there. Well, I don't think this potentially, obviously we haven't seen it, I don't see how this fixes that problem.
Yeah, I don't think it fixes I don't think it's priced high enough to fix the problem.
Right.
I mean, like you said, it's only going to cost if we're just going to the Magic Kingdom for a day, it costs us $60 to be able to select attractions, select a time to come back through the Lightning. Yep. Like, I mean, look how much money people go to Epcot and drink around the world. Yeah. Like, they're spending hundreds of dollars on alcohol.
Yes.
Who's not going to spend $60 to pick a time to come back to a ride?
I was on social media the other day and somebody asked, hey, haven't been to Disney in 10 years. Is X amount of dollar budgeted enough for food for like a family of 4? And then tons of people had their great responses. It wasn't snarky, but then one guy was kind of snarky and he was like, I don't think that's anywhere near enough. And the guy was like, what are you doing? Eating at sit down restaurants for every meal? And his response was, no, the last time I went for a week, just my bill for me drinking alcohol was, are you sitting down? $700. So that gives you an idea of the money that you can spend just on having adult beverages and enjoying your adult time while you're at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
So again, it depends on how each family and each person and each trip, like how they choose to do it. But I have some thoughts that I wanted to bring up so we could kind of go back and forth on. Clearly, Disney is doing this from a perspective of this, and I think this is a smart business decision in theory. And what I mean by that is, so Disney is looking to charge more for things to make money while there are less people in the park. So meaning while we're at a lower capacity, they're trying to make smart business decisions and saying, how do we make more money with less people in the park? And these are the ways. You look at what they just did at Disneyland. They've got all these new tiers of passes. Most of them don't include parking, right? Yeah. Where before it did. I mean, that's another way that they can, hey, you've got people who love Disneyland, want the cheaper price. You're either going to have to pay full parking or 50% off parking, right? So they're looking at all these ways. But why I want to spitball back and forth about this is the first thing that comes to mind is, let's take that family of 4 that are your Disney diehards that come once a year, right? They're going to come for a week. Let's just say they do, like I said, you've got 4 days. They're going to only do the fast passes for one time at each park that they go to. Makes sense. It's a smart way to kind of be a little bit more economical about it. But here's my question. I would look at it from a standpoint of, well, maybe if I was going to stay at a deluxe, because Disney is charging more for these other things that I used to be free, AKA parking, AKA now the lightning lanes, AKA everything else that's the ticket prices that went up absurdly and they're doing the variable based on what time of the year that you're going. I'm going to look at, well, maybe I'll stay at moderate. So my question is, doesn't it really kind of even out? Like, are people going to spend more, or are they going to change the way that they travel at Disney? I mean, I think that's a fair question. Like, if I was if I had this X amount of budget and I could stay within that budget by now not doing deluxe and only doing moderate, well, that's what I'm going to do. So in effect, will Disney make more money from this? My question is that, and I'm I think most people, at least who are going to be, you got people who are loaded. They're just going to do whatever they want to do. But I'm going to look at this as, well, okay, well, I want to have fast passes. So what goes, right? Something gets cut. And to me, if it's deluxe to moderate or even moderate to value, pick your whatever level or stay off property, right? Yeah. Then again, one of the other things that we haven't even touched on yet is the idea of there's no more value right now for these Genie Plus and the lightning lanes, I still can't say it, with staying on property. Well, there is one small thing, but here's how it's going to work. Every day that you're going, you have to get up at 7 a.m. just like you do with the virtual queues to pick your fast pass, to pick your lightning lane. Did you read that? Did you notice that was in the?
I did see that, and kind of what you were talking about with, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference for people who are going to stay at a deluxe resort. If you're going to stay at a deluxe resort, you're paying a $600, $700, $800, whatever, $800 a night. Like we talked, $500 more for your week of fast passes for your family of 4 is not a huge deal. I think it would make a much bigger difference, moderate to value or value to staying off property. Okay. So I don't think it's going to affect the deluxe as much as those other two. So, but like you said, it's Disney trying to find ways to make more money while there's less people in the park. Right. Now, it depends on when they institute this, because if this is coming in the next month, yes, the capacity is still limited. There's still less people in the park. This is a way for Disney to make more money with less people in the park. If this doesn't happen until it's got to happen obviously before the 50th, but by the time we get to the 50th, I'm thinking we're going to be pretty close to regular capacity. So it's not going to be necessarily less people in the park. It's then changes to Disney making money off of the irregular amount of people in the park. So I think they're a business. They obviously lost a ton of money in the last year and a half. And this is an easy way to provide a new service and make people feel like they're getting something extra and still make money doing that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say when I was there before, like, early on COVID, the first couple of trips I went to, I mean, it was glorious. We've talked about that, how wonderful it was. It was almost like one of those after hours parties. It was empty in what we would consider like a Disney park. But I have to say, the last time I went, it felt very normal.
Yeah.
And so, like, again, queues were still down in times, but again, it's because there was no fast pass, right? I mean, I don't think we saw anything more than 60 minutes other than like a couple of times there was, what is in Andy's backyard?
Slinky.
Yeah.
Your favorite ride.
Slinky Dog. And like Test Track. And so I want to pause at Test Track for a minute. So I think I went 4, maybe 5 times during COVID so far, because obviously we'll be there for the 50th, hoping to go for some holidays as well. I have not ridden Test Track the entire time during my pandemic visits because that to me has been the longest wait. Now I know that like Disney will post the time and most of those times are 10, 15, maybe even more than that, less than what they're actually saying. But I remember that night that we went into the temporary mouse gears, and then we came out and there was that Joffrey's behind there, and we got a little spiked drink, and I had a donut the size of my head, and we sat there and talked for an hour and closed down Epcot. And I ran over there. Well, we ran over there and said, I want to know what the time is now. And it was still like 65 minutes at the end of the day. Like the park was closed. Yeah. And so I'm like, I haven't ridden that in forever. So to me, like if we do a fast pass thing, that's going to be one of the attractions that I want, just because I haven't had the opportunity to do it. And the wait has been absurd all during COVID.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. I sent you guys that text picture earlier this week. It was 5 minutes after Epcot opened at 11 o'clock. Every attraction had a 0-minute wait except for Test Track, 60. 5 minutes after the park opened, Test Track had a 60-minute wait, and everything else was no wait. So I'm with you. Like, all the times that you've come down, like we've never gotten on that. We walk by and we laugh at the wait there. But I think, Test Track benefits from a park that doesn't have a lot of attractions for adults. True. So most of the adults who go to Epcot are going to ride Soarin' and they're going to ride Test Track. So, it's always going to have a huge wait. Now,
and Frozen. Definitely can't forget about Frozen.
Yeah. And then when Guardians of the Galaxy opens,
that'll be your premiere.
You're going to be able to walk onto Test Track. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
So just wait, I guess. But I get it. I mean, for people that they come once, twice, once every year, once every 3 years, whatever it is, like, I get it. I mean, you're like, well, I got to stand in line for 60 minutes because I'm not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
But to me, like, you live there. I go so often. I'm like, I ain't standing in that line. Yeah. So it's a little bit of like first world problems for sure. But man, like I will probably buy it when we're there just so I can. I mean, Test Track is not like my favorite ride in the world, but I mean, it's an attraction that I'd like to go on without having to wait for an hour. So there's going to definitely be some days and some rides that will certainly be worth it.
And here's a question now that this announcement happened today, and with our fantastic new Lightning Lane, are single rider lines a thing of the past?
Yes. So I asked that on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I wanted to poll the room, and the majority of people have said no way because it's still a way to disperse people. And I was like,
in my mind, if I was like, well, if the main rides I want to go on have a single rider option, like Test Track, Everest,
right?
Why am I going to pay $15 when I can just go wait in a single rider line and wait probably close to the same amount of time?
So let's.
So to me, Disney would be like, no.
Right. That was where my headspace was for sure. So let's list them. We know like Everest is one. So Test Track is one.
Test Track has a single rider. Rock and Roller Coaster has a single rider.
I mean, so far we've listed 3
Smugglers
premier attractions.
Right. Smuggler's Run has a single rider.
I wouldn't say that's 4, but I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan. So there's 4 rides that I would consider major thrill rides at Walt Disney World that have a single rider line that I'm not going to pay for a fast pass for.
No.
So I really was like, no, I think they're dead. That's what I thought. That's what I said was single riders in my head. And everybody was like, nope, it eats up too much people and then they'll need that. I'm like, yeah, but that goes against like their opportunity to make money. It changed. Yeah. Like I get it with Fast Pass. It was free. Now that they're charging, why would you give away something for free? Like, I mean, our Isaiah's not, but me, Kim, and Micaiah could go stand in line and are all old enough to ride by ourselves. I don't care that we can't ride them together. Who cares? It's about enjoying the attraction. Now I get it. There are definitely attractions that you want to be on with your family for the picture. Cool. But when it comes to do we stand in line for 90 minutes or get in the single rider line, enjoy it and go on to the next thing? That's a no-brainer for me.
I agree. I mean, there's been plenty of times you and I have gone with Matthew and his family and we all get the single rider line and we all ride different rides. I mean, when you're on the ride, you don't talk to each other on the ride. So it's not like you're missing an experience on the ride by not riding with the people that you went. So exactly. Maybe they do something like Universal at the Velocicoaster. They had a single rider line, but depending on what was going on with the ride and how many people were in each line, they closed the single rider line. So for like the single rider line would be closed for a half an hour and they'd let the line and the Max Pass and whatever they call that over there, the Express Pass do their thing. And then they would open up the single rider line again. So could I see something like that? Yes. But I think in the infancy of Disney Genie Plus, where they have paid experiences, paid lightning lanes, you are not going to see single rider lines for the main stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm falling in your camp. Like I was surprised. Like I didn't say it, but I was in the minority, and at least what I was thinking. Everybody chimed in because I posed that question like in the clubhouse room and everybody was like, no, they're not going anywhere. I'm like, oh, well, okay. But I also didn't think they would bring back Fast Pass and charge for it right away.
Yeah.
I also am still in the camp that when they bring annual passes back, when they announce it, probably within the next week or two, because they said sometime in August, right? Did they not?
Yep.
It's like I'm hearing more rumblings that people are going to be like, no way is it going to be what it is now. No way. And I'm like, really? Because I was like, no, they're going to want to learn from what can they gather, what can they measure, what data can they compile from what's happening in Disneyland and Disneyland Paris. I know those are different style parks when it comes to the beast that is Walt Disney World, but at least they could learn some things, tweak, and figure out what will work for Walt Disney World. But most people are like, yeah, I'd be really shocked if it just came back because they're right. Nothing else is just coming back at Disney.
Yeah.
So I was like, gulp.
I could see a little combination. I could see them taking a little bit from Disneyland. So now you have obviously the Platinum Pass, you have the Gold, the Silver. I could see them adopting the parking not included models from Disneyland. Mm-hmm. So for the lower passes, the Silver, the Gold, Platinum fully included. Maybe the Gold has 50%.
Right.
Silver, you get a 15% discount or whatever, and then whatever's low, you pay full. So I can see that part of it coming back, but I don't think they're going to change like the Platinum, Gold, Silver. Like we've talked about umpteen times, like Walt Disney World is a completely different animal than Disneyland. So I still think it's going to be super hard to change a lot of it, but there's stuff within, like they started like Platinum. You can no longer do Platinum Plus. There's no more water park option. Right. So I can see them taking away things from different levels, but I don't see them changing the overall plan, the structure of the pass.
Yeah, man, we'll see. Well, I was really starting that conversation off to talk about, I didn't think that when they release them, whenever it is that they're going to release them, that there would be any changes. And I seem to be in the minority in Clubhouse as well in that camp. They were, most people were like, why wouldn't there be offering some changes? Because we talked about, like, I can't imagine that it's gone for a while and they bring it back and then you've got this whole tier of people like you guys. I mean, you guys are less than 2 weeks since you renewed your pass, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, so you're good for the whole next year. And if they change it in 40 days, 30 days, Like then you got this whole other system. But then, people started talking and bringing up the great point of when is a good time to make the change? I mean, there isn't, right? And so,
unless you just say everybody's passes end this day, we're refunding everybody money, and then we're starting all over January 1st. Like that's the only way to get everybody on the same. Yeah. And you saw how long it took to get your refund back when you canceled during COVID. So, there's no way they could do that for thousands and thousands of passes. So there's no good way to integrate a new system, which is why I don't think that they're going to change it.
Sorry, I was counting. Sorry, somebody watched my fingers. I'm sorry. I think it took me 10 months to get my refund.
Yeah,
for $325.
So imagine that if they were like, all right, we're just starting from scratch. Man. Like that's never.
But that's how they did it at Disneyland. They canceled everybody, refunded, and did like. But yeah, I
much fewer passes.
I can't even begin to. All we do is speculate. I can't even unpack that one. I don't want to be on the team that has to figure that out. I don't want to be on the team that has to roll that out, and I don't want to be on the team that has to manage that. That's where I'm landing with that change.
We're going to be on the team that has to deal with it.
Yes, we will be a receiver. We will be on offense for sure.
For sure.
Oh man. Okay, so I think we've kind of unpacked that incredible breaking news. Really fresh breaking news for us. But what we really wanted to talk about this show was, Brandon and I were talking last night. We had a great idea of just, we've beat the 50th stuff, into the ground for sure. But we wanted to talk about, like I said earlier, once we get through the 50th, what is the next big things, direction, whatever you want to adjective you want to use for Disney parks. And so I just thought that was an interesting thought because, right, you've got all of this changes for Epcot, we'll be transforming and hopefully finish by sometime during the 50th or the end of the 50th. And then, a lot of things have just been redone and everything will be pretty in a shiny new coat and that will all be ending. So what is next for Disney parks? So that's what we were going to talk about. I feel like, it just said, I don't want to speculate. Here we go.
Here we go. Speculation station.
I'll jump off with the first one and I'll keep it parks related. And that is, hopefully they can ride this wave of 18 months for the 50th, get back in the black as a company, see the parks become profitable again, which there were news the past couple of weeks that they had begun to get profitable again. But again, we're not at 100%. We don't have all of our cast members back. We're not running, not all the hotels are, so it would make sense based on running at a limited capacity and things really ramped up from spring break on. But then, as soon as I say that, I heard this week they were expecting, this month they were expecting Disney property hotels to be at a 93% capacity. And because of the big surge, and especially the big surge in your beloved home state,
wonderful state,
they're now expecting 60-something% capacity. So that's a huge, and dropping 10% a week or something like that.
Yeah.
So big changes. So, but I think the next thing that really has to be addressed is Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. We've joked and talked about on our Reimagineer It show that, that park has more than one dead end. There's tons of property on that was part of that park when it came to the back tour lot that is no longer, I'll call it customer facing. That's what we used to say at Apple, but it's no longer guests can no longer enter that area, be a part of the area. Now I know that they've transformed that, I'm sure, to offices and even probably cast member space, but still there's some ways that they can connect that park together. So there's not there's no reason that you can't just be over in Animation Courtyard, which needs to be changed. That doesn't need to be the name anymore. And get over to Rock and Roller Rock and Roller Coaster without having to go all the way around Sunset Boulevard. That just doesn't make sense. And then of course over there by Muppets and the Incredibles, like it just kind of dead ends over there at the backside of. So anyway, there's definitely some opportunities that they need to do there to make. So that would be the first one. Like that just needs kind of an overhaul, and they need to work on the, like the footprint of how people can get around.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's no reason that that dead end park should exist. I mean, it all radiates out from the center, and you just go out into the spokes of the wheel, and you can't get anywhere. So I was thinking about that too. It makes a lot more sense to just. I mean, obviously, there's not a lot of expansion you can do to Animal Kingdom. There's not a lot of expansion you're going to do. They're already doing a ton to Epcot. So once that's done and through, you're not going to do much to that. Magic Kingdom's pretty much at capacity, where it is, because of the wildlife areas and things like that. They can't really go any further out. So Hollywood Studios does make the most sense. And I mean, if you've lived down here and you get on the message boards, the whole talk and the whole rumors that Disney is going to open a fifth park down here, a fifth gate, which brings in a whole host of problems. Disney owns a ton of land down here, but not all of that land is developable. Words
are my favorite.
Is that a real word?
Yes.
You can't build on a lot of that land. Right. So as exciting as a fifth gate would be, and now that Universal is doing their Epic park or whatever that thing is called, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of grumbling from Disney fans about wanting to put another park in that's, a villains park or, an IP park, that would allow them to make new attractions and things like that. I think it would be great because then they could put like the cool stuff there without having to destroy OG attractions in all of the other parks, right? You could do all of your simulators and your virtual reality stuff and your cool stuff at the new park without having to take away from the existing parks. But I mean, people just don't realize how much money it would cost to build a brand new park.
Especially
I mean, if you look
today,
I mean, you look at Galaxy's Edge, that cost $1 billion with a B. Estimates are about $1 billion to make Galaxy's Edge. And that is one land in an already existing park.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as cool as it would be, I just don't think it's feasible, in the next 15 years to add a fifth gate to Disney World.
Yeah.
I just don't think.
And what's interesting is Matthew said that since Disney's park inception, if that makes sense, that the 2010s was the first time in history that Disney didn't open a new park. So once we hit, the 2010s, apologies. Once we hit 2021, we went a whole decade without a new park being announced and opening. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah. So that's what leads me to believe. I mean, to me, like, I think it is a potential. I just think that they have to have quite a few more years in the, I feel ignorant saying this, in the post-COVID as we see it now, like era, they have to have years and years and years of profit. Like, I mean, maybe 3 to 5, right? In order for them to start making big changes. But I think you're right. Like, as much wetlands that there is, as much protected wildlife areas as they are, Disney has a crap ton of property, and it would be very easy for them to put a park there. But again, it's just the cost. I mean, we lost Cherry Tree Lane, for God's sakes. How much was that going to make? The facade's already there.
Yeah. And now we're talking about building a whole park with new infrastructure, new piping, new electrical, how long has Tron been under construction? I mean,
14
this is
years.
one ride in Magic Kingdom. We're talking build a whole new park, which is, I mean, I think it's ambitious. Epic Universe, I think it's called at Universal, is supposed to be open by like 2025. So we're talking,
imagine.
I mean, we're talking 4 years from now, maybe not.
I mean,
it takes time.
Yeah, it rains a lot in Florida.
It rains an awful lot.
That stops a lot of construction.
There's a lot of mud a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes the most sense to tackle Hollywood Studios, make that take our Reimagineering ideas and make them reality. But I just don't see them making a new park. It's more updating new attractions, updating Hollywood studios, and then just riding that sentimental wave that we always talk about. Like,
right. Mm-hmm.
I'm always like, well, what's going to keep these people coming to Disney World? Like, you have to come up with new stuff, but I mean, you got diehard Disney fans that are going to keep you afloat,
right?
Even if you don't have new stuff.
That's true. Okay, that's good. So Disney's Hollywood Studios needs a fresh coat of paint and some new footpaths. What's one thing you see as they could be doing once we get out of the 50th, and what's next for Disney?
I see them developing, or I would love to see them develop something along the lines of Alani, like a new destination resort somewhere that's not in Florida, that's not in California. Alani it's amazing from what I've seen. I've never been there. And I think that Disney just needs another option for a place for people to go. You got the parks, you got cruises that are starting back up. You got Castaway Cay and you got Alani, but I would love to see something on the other side of the world. Maybe we were joking about like the Maldives or or something out there that just it's an exotic Disney destination is where I hope that they would try to develop something.
Yeah. Okay. I want to throw a curveball at you. We have Tom, who is our travel agent of choice, and his home base is Europe. Mm-hmm. Now I know that we have Disneyland Paris, but I would say, again, I don't have numbers in front of me, but I would say, especially with Englanders, Englanders. I don't know what you guys are called.
The British.
There you go. The British are coming probably to shoot me for not knowing what they're called. They are probably, outside of Brazil, which that's another place, probably the highest out of, like, one country that definitely has a population of people that are avid Walt Disney World goers. Yep. Definitely Disneyland too. And so, I mean, I know the weather's not as great in England, but I would say, like, that would make sense to attract your British, and it would be closer to home and for them to get some Disney feels. But then I also wanted to throw in, we all know that Brazil is another huge travel to Walt Disney World country as well. And that could land a little bit more Maldives feels, because there are definitely, that would probably be a more pretty, like Alani, areas to go to in Brazil with, pretty water, great destination, South America, beautiful weather. And so those would be two places that I would say could be, I would definitely, if I was a Disney Imagineer and we were thinking about this, like, I would put a pin on the map in those two countries for sure.
Now, would parks or like resort?
I think I would do a resort. Like, I can't imagine them. I will say this. I don't see Disney tackling another theme park outside of the United States of America.
Yeah. That's
not in my lifetime.
That's probably fair.
Not in my
lifetime.
Probably
fair. That's probably fair.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. And you mentioned Brazil, and you mentioned, that got me thinking something else I might like to see them do is finally add another country to Epcot.
Yes, that was on my list too. Perfect.
Yeah. I would love to see them. I mean, there's this crazy, I don't know where this crazy movement is coming from, but there's like a petition with tens of thousands of signatures, and they want to get Greece added to Epcot.
I saw that.
So, I mean, after we tackle Hollywood Studios and get that right, then maybe we add another country. One of the ones perhaps that we talked about on Reimagineering.
Yeah, we went through a few for sure.
But maybe that's something else that they tackle.
Can I put in my vote?
Yes, Ohana will be in there somewhere.
I would. Can we please do Cherry Tree Lane before we add a country? I know that's. I mean, when Disney says take stuff off the plate, does it really go off the plate, or is it just an idea that's shelved for maybe later? I don't know, man. I was really and I know it's Mary Poppins
that's your
is my
favorite
favorite Disney film. I know, but I just feel like that's an easier attainable goal, and it's another great place. And I feel like the timing is right. They could have been riding the wave off Mary Poppins Returns, even though that feels older now. She's already moved on to Jungle Cruise. So, boy, Mary Poppins gets around
Mary Poppins
in a non-inappropriate way. Yeah, I think those are good. And then, so I don't know. I feel like adding another country just makes sense, right? It's another reason to bring. Right? Us diehard Disneys, we go all the time. Yes, we will fight tooth and nail. We always say, doesn't matter if nothing's changed. The experience is different every time. I'm in that camp. I'm not going to be the ones who go, why do you want to go to the same place every year, multiple times a year? Well, you don't understand it. And I'm not asking you to understand it if that's the camp that you're in. But I would say it's always fun to go and experience something new because we're so used to what's already there. So when something new pops up, it's like, oh wow. Again, am I over the moon about Remy's Ratatouille adventure? No. But am I excited for it? Of course. Of course, it's something different.
It's something different.
Yeah. I can't wait to experience it at my park, right? That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
This was good, man. I know we talked about playing it a game, but we're at almost an hour. I think we've done it.
I think
save a game for next week.
Yeah, we'll just save our game for next week. That way, people who are listening will have to tune in to see what game we're going to play.
I love it.
I had a good one too.
I think we should do it. I think we should do that one.
All right, we're going to do that one next week. Leave them hanging.
That's right.
If anybody's listened to our show before and that we played the game Pick One, we got a good one next week.
That's right. You got it. Okay, if you're looking to travel to Walt Disney World, and I must say, we didn't touch on this, but if you don't care about the 50th and you can plan a really quick trip, right now's a really good time to go. Last Sunday, for the first time in its young history, you could just walk on to Rise of Resistance because they filled all of their virtual queue and you could just walk on.
And there were still virtual queues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, the times, I looked at the app last Sunday, and the times look like when it reopened in July last year. I think the highest wait was Slinky Dog, and it was 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Everything else was 10. Tower of Terror was 13, which is 10.
Yeah. Just walk on.
Yeah. So, it was super eerie. Monday, it was back to normal.
Yeah. What was the deal with that day?
I don't know.
Was that the day that it closed early for the Snap-on party? Is that what?
No, because that was you would think because Magic Kingdom closed at 6, you would think the other parks would have been more crowded.
Yeah.
But Snap-on Tools party was Saturday. So this was Sunday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think what may have happened last week is that there was supposed to be a hurricane here.
Yeah.
So a lot of people may have canceled their trips or, planned. They were here, but they didn't go to a park. So that may have been what affected last weekend. But overall, I look at the wait times at least once a day, and they have not been outlandish. So.
Yeah.
Especially now, like what Dave said, like it was supposed to be 93% occupied this coming weekend. It's 65%. So
and we know why.
Weeks,
we definitely know why.
And Disney is tweaking their mask policy again.
Yeah,
that came out today
in the direction that I didn't expect.
It's weird.
Were you surprised?
I was very surprised. Especially with what's going on in the state.
You guys are setting the wrong kind of records.
We're setting records all sorts of wrong. But in case people don't know, Disney is tweaking it a little bit so that I should say it's optional to wear masks in any outdoor queues, on any outdoor attractions, and in any outdoor theater. So, for the safari, you don't have to wear your mask anymore. Riding Dumbo, riding Aladdin's Magic Carpets, Big Thunder Mountain, you don't have to it's optional to wear a mask for those. So definitely was surprised by that. But I think people are now realizing that there's a problem in Florida, so they're postponing trips again.
Yeah.
So
which I think
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the summer, the rest of the summer.
I think that's a reason. Like, I mean, you're right there. COVID is definitely the resurge across the country, and especially in Florida, has certainly made some people say, well, I don't want to go there. And I don't blame you. But, I mean, if you believe Disney is safe, which I've been there multiple times during COVID, I would say it's safe. But again, the temperature checks are gone. I mean, it is kind of the wild, wild west at theme parks, and definitely outside of theme parks in Florida.
Yes.
But if we could see some pretty ridiculous and I mean, I don't want to blame it all on COVID. I mean, certainly you've got like thousands and thousands of people that are going for the 50th, and like, we're especially if you're going when us crazies are right at the launch of the 50th, like. Nobody wants to go right before it starts, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, we get to go right before we miss everything. So I mean, I get it, but man, if you don't care about any of that stuff, or if you're if you can drive down for a weekend, now would be a good time to plan a trip, because the next few weeks could be some good wait times, we'll say.
Yeah. And if you're going to plan that trip, make sure you call Tom at FlyMickeyTravel.com. Yes,
definitely.
Cool.
All right, man. Great show. I miss you. I can't. We'll do what? We got one more show before you're actually here.
One more
at the beach.
At the beach.
If you come over that Sunday, we may have to shoot a show together. We may just have to do that.
That would be fun.
We'll see. We may want to do other fun things.
No, that would be fun.
Because that'd be a rare opportunity that we could do that. Anyway, I've loved it. Always love seeing your beautiful face.
Yours as well. Remember to check out our website, anotherdispodcast.com.
Yes.
Check out our Twitter, Another Diz Podcast, our Facebook, Another Disney Podcast. But especially check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Another Disney Podcast.
And if you're not making it to the parks anytime soon and you want to smell one of your favorite rides, attractions, or hotels, definitely visit ParkSense, ParkScents. We have a 20% off coupon for anything that they sell, and that is, DizPod20, DizPod20. All right, man. That's all the ads. We got them out of the way.
Yes, indeed.
All right. See you soon, but talk to you next week.
Yes, indeed. Peace.
Later.